Namaskar. Welcome everybody to Crop Production Technology series. With me, I have Mr. R. Madhavan, a farming expert who is doing his own farming since last 30 years. He's also an engineer. We have seen a very good views and lot of comments coming in. This is a question and answer session for episode 1. So we have selected all the main questions. Madhavan sir, Namaskar and welcome to Crop Production Technology. Farmers are waiting eagerly for all their answers.
Namaskar, Harsh. I'm very happy people are interacting by watching our videos and giving us the comments, and that will help us to fine tune our activities to their need. I'm very happy, and let's go to the question.
So without waiting, I would start the first question for you. The first question is coming from Mr. Vidhu Upadhyaya. He is asking, should chiseling and soil testing be done every time prior to raising a fresh crop?
Chisel is done once a year prior to the monsoon, and soil test is also done once a year prior to your first crop. I will briefly explain why. Sizzle has, I think last in episodes where I was mentioning about the sizzle, I said it has got many benefits. I'll mention only the few, and the rest, you can go and explore into it. The first one, soil porosity. All the crop needs a porous soil, so the porosity is improved. Hard pan is removed. Third, rainwater harvesting is done. That's the reason we are asking to do this prior to monsoon. So when you are sizzling, it is not plowing, it is removing. It is like a knife cutting across the table. So that means it cuts across to a depth. So that depth creating a hard pan loosened. That means the water can percolate and the water can storage up to that level, and the plant will be using it at later part of the time. And see the difference between sizzle and ridger. Ridger is completely different. Ridger is making a type of a bedding for water to flow and the plant to sit. The advantages of the ridger, I think we explained it in earlier and also in our episode, but again I'll put one or two important notes on that for you. In ridger, the plant moisture air combination is optimized for their performance. Thank you for your question. Next question, please.
Thank you very much, sir, for the answer. Let me just go to the next question. It is from Kisan Putra. Thank you very much for the information in the episode 1. Is there a need to operate chisel in normal loam soil of Rajasthan?
Good. I'm glad that you are getting the information. Yes. See, whether it is a loam or a clay, as long as the hard pan exists and which is across, the hard pan creates proliferation of root or restricted to the crop. I think I was explaining about the roots. Now also you go into it little more on the rooting, because root are the mouth of a crop. So the attention to the root is as important as the canopy on the surface. So you should be using that. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. So for this question from DC Vinayak Rao, I would recommend tractor related question. I'll ask Mr. Randhawa sir, a tractor expert, and farming related Madhavan sir will explain. He has multiple questions. I'll just brief some of them. Due to porosity of time, we are seeing more and more combined multifunctional attachment like happy seeder, rotavator plus seeder plus pre-emerging herbicide spray. It is very heavy and may require 100 plus HP and 4-wheel drive tractor. Please comment on this new trend in farm mechanization. Can you make an episode on such non-traditional tools also? Can you also categorize tools depending on soil type and structure? I am from northeastern part of Karnataka, bordering Telangana state, about 170 kilometers west of Hyderabad. We have black cotton soil with lot of limestone, while the top soil uptown around 10 inches is fertile. Unfortunately, the subsoil contains lot of salt that dissolves in water. If there is excess rain or flood irrigation, the salt leach up and turn soil whitish with a pH of around 8.5. National Bureau of Soil Survey and Land Use Planning in mid-90s had categorized state that there should no irrigation be in this area. Under the circumstance, your recommendation of chiseling as a standard practice in land preparation is not well throughout. If I chisel my farm, it will break the barrier and my topsoil would be ruined. Please comment.
Mr. Vinayak Rao, good questions you have put. I will answer one by one, whichever you have put down. I agree with you. The first question saying that yes, multifunctional attachment require heavier horsepower, but our land holdings are small. So until we conglomerate the land holdings to a fairly reasonable size, we can't have these multifunctional attachments. So I think we'll wait for that good day. And that will answer also the new trend of farm mechanization can only enter in. After all, what is the mechanization is in a small fragmented land, mechanization is impossible, which you already are aware of it. So I don't have to explain more on that. Already you mentioned it. And yes, we will work on the non-traditional tools you were asking about. We will, fix a time and plan a complete episode on non-traditional tools. I think we have time for that to use. And soil type and structure, see, that is a different thing. It can go, mainly the tools are operated on a soil. Say for example, if it is a lot of stone piles and granite rock fragment, I think it should be our responsibility to clean it once prior to start cultivating. Or I can suggest you can go a crop which don't mind such porous soils. Don't go for a finer material of don't go for any complicated crops. Think of some crops which is locally grown in that way, where it can accept a certain amount of fragmented stone and other pieces. Otherwise, normally it is not advisable to go with that. Yes, definitely in such terrain, rotavator and other mechanical tools do get break up and other things are there. No, see, the plant residue which you are talking about, or mulching, which is a very much necessary. You have to incorporate all the soil residue back into the soil, and that will serve actually as a organic matter also to the necessary soil, and it does contain certain amount of nutrients. Now you say, question was saying, all the tools are getting choked. You allow some more time for it to get disintegrated. If your soil is well balanced with the soil nutrients, the bacterial activation also take place, enough nitrogen is there so that it is easily digested, and the microbial activation also continues. Lack of nitrogen can also reduce microbial activity. I think you have to work on the soil prior to doing this, and mulching is very much necessary. It is actually preserving the soil area. Good, I think I've seen your geographical thing, your black cotton soil and a lot of limestone. Again, I will insist on this. A good soil test should give you what is the amount of salinity that you have, and proper soil amendment should be able to leach them out. Now, we are talking about sizzle and bringing up this topsoil and bring. It's not at all true. Again, I will repeat, I think previous farmer friend was also asking that question. Sizzle is not a cultivator. Please, I will insist on this. Sizzle is a tool. See, we are going to show a small video clipping onto the right on this video, how the sizzle is operating. So you are going to see it's not tilling the soil, it's cutting across, where you can closely observe. It's not tilling, but it is only cutting across the soil surface. Second one, which you are asking about, excess rainfall or flood irrigation and dissolving of water, all these things. Salt, accumulation of salt. Accumulation of salt could be, one is for the your irrigation water. So you have to check the irrigation water for any salinity, or whether the soil has a lot of sodic. That means the soil test will give you some results, and there are methods to leach out the sodium into a safer zone so that the better crop can be developed. Because sodium is actually not good for any crop, because it disperses the soil. So it is not, the soil is not porous. So by giving all these details, I think it looks like your soil is, during the rainy season, it is mashy, and it is, when it is a dry, it is a rock stones. So this is a clear indication that this soil has lot of sodium, and you have to manage sodic soil, and that's a completely different science of managing sodic soils. I think I've explained about you on the soil getting ruined. It is not the case. It is not tilling. Cultivator can do it. If you really think that a cultivator can go that depth and bringing up the topsoil and taking this good top 9 inches soil back, bury back in it, but it is not so. Sizzling is not doing that job. Thank you for your questions.
Thank you. Thank you very much, sir. Okay, I'm coming to the next question. This is from Abhishek Patel. His question is, sir, we have seen many diseases in rice farming. Please suggest some information on how to control it. Also, how we can reduce the cost of rice farming with good production.
Uh, yes, Patel Saab, your questions are interesting. Rice farm, see, any plant, why rice alone, any crop, like human beings, they have pest and disease across. How do we manage? Now we all know. Now I don't have to repeat that. After this post-corona, now everybody knows your immunity. Now that immunity is a buzzword for everybody. But that word, similarly, you have to immunize the paddy crop, wheat crop, potato crop, anything. So how do you immunize? How do we immunize ourselves? We are advocated by doctors, nutritionists. What? Take more of vitamins and more of this, more of that. So the same thing has to be addressed to the rice also. So a good soil test and good balancing will prevent as a prophylactic. As I keep saying, you cannot eradicate pest and disease. They are part and parcel of us. The moment you are born, the disease also born. So that means you go travel both. They want to live and you want to live. So now who fights? In nature, the one who is stronger wins. That's the law of nature. So how you make yourself stronger is in you, not with others. And see, reduce the cost of rice farming. I would always say, instead of saying cost of rice farming, please think and post your comments, cost per unit. Why don't you calculate how much I am spending to produce per kg of paddy? Then that will give you a lot of openings. From there, you can get into a good production practices.
Thank you so much, sir. Next question is from Sandeep Pawar. Sir, please take more discussion on marketing. Also discuss on contract farming advantages, disadvantages, and challenges. Similarly, Dheeraj Panwar also asked, sir, please discuss more on marketing.
Sandeep Bawarji, I'm going to answer this question along answering also Dheeraj Panwarji. Put the, because you both are discussion on marketing. Yes, sir. Anything requiring, when you have a raw material, it has to be marketed. How best it is to be marketed in a competitive way, and we are farmers. It is more prone to shelf life, not like other material. So shelf life also plays an important role. I would always put it in this way. Why don't you find out a marketing and get agreement with the processor? See, most of our agricultural produces needs value adding. Anything for that matter. Paddy, it is to be value added to rice. Hulled, de-stoned, de-husked, all these are value adding. Now, I think we have to change as a farmer now to go into a marketing first and find out what is the need of the customer. Why don't we go into that area? Find out what do they want. I will give a small example on that, which I have already made it in my episodes. Very short. I don't want to get into a long one. I'm also to give answers to other friends of our group. A cabbage, I used to produce 3 kilos head size, and the vendor, my market fellow said, no, it is not getting a good price, and I was getting only 2 rupees and 3 rupees a kilo. I thought, why is this? So I went to the vendor and stood there while the ladies come, marching for marketing. They come for buying things. They always try to pick up a whole cabbage instead, small, good whole one, instead of cutting into quarter kilo or half a kilo. That means I have learned their requirement is only less than half a kilo to 3/4 kilo. So 3 kilos, they are scared. Now, my cabbage customers are ladies. Now their demand or their requirement is a good small sized cabbage is ideal for them. So the next year I started working towards reducing this size, head size, by close planting the plants and addressing the nutrients. So from 3 kilos, I brought it down to 1 kilo. Now I watched these ladies. They grabbed this 1 kilo. Instead of 2 rupees a kilo, I was selling at 10 rupees a kilo. But my production didn't, it increased. Whether I produced 3 kilo head or 1 kilo head, to me, at the end of the day, I produced 22 tons. Whether the head size were 3 or 1 is immaterial for me. because I'm paid for the kilo basis. But I was looking at the customer side, because you have to satisfy the customer so that they are happy to pay you more. See, after all, we both live each other, right? They depend on us and we depend on them. That means it's a win-win. You have to serve them for their choice. So I think you can make a small survey, whether you're growing paddy or this or that, into a local market. Find out how best you can deliver it in a quality, standardization. These are the factors getting into a market. Now, my friend Mr. Sandeep Pawar was asking about contract farming. I'll also add that word in it, advantage and disadvantage. See, there's always an advantage in the sense assured marketing. I think we are already aware, if you are a sugarcane farmer, we are already into a contract farming. So there's nothing new into it. The word may be, the nomenclatures, the word contract, agreement, MOU. See, all that is contributing to one thing, that we as a grower, them as a processor coming into an agreement. Now, what are the advantages? You said the advantages are, he is already fixing the price for you, and you are already ready how to, go with this price, whether it's going to be profitable or not, how best you can manipulate it. Say, for example, 1,000 rupees is a cane per ton. I'm just quoting as an example. I'm not getting into reality. 1,000 rupees a ton of cane. Now you work backwards. How to produce a ton of cane for 600 rupees? Yes, this is how the business surveys. Now, what are the methods to do it? I said, the soil test, method of using the fertilization, optimum use, efficiency. And I think I explained that, how to use it, optimization of fertilizers, how to convert it, quality management, timely harvesting, and post-harvest techniques. These are all good for the contract farming. See, disadvantages are very minimum nowadays, because now we are open. The law is open. There's no question of disadvantage into this contract farming. I think we should more and more embrace contract farming so that this marketing issue is reduced, and consistency and quality it should be our mantra. We should have these two in mind even in farming. For example, I produce capsicum, say 3 lobes, the 3 lobes of a capsicum. There are 4 lobes of a capsicum. See, these are all cosmetic look, you see. Ultimately, you're going to put it in sambar or some sabji. That's a different thing. But when people buy it, in my own experience, which I have, noticed it, if it is mixed of 3 and 4 lobes, they shy away from that lot. And if I can give them only 4 lobes, they go in attracted. So, see, to me, it's only a capsicum, but I don't know what the customers see in it. They want a 4 lobes. Maybe it is easy for them to cut, or to make a stuffed into the oven. It is much more easier if it is a 4 lobe and they can stuff it with aloo and things like that. It's for their convenience, right? So if your consistency is not there, it's going to be rejected. So you're going to have a problem with the contract farming. So this is actually not a problem. It's actually your quality issues. How do you address that as a problem of contract farming? It is in fact a good one, because in contract farming, we both are agreeing on conditions mutually, and it is written as a understanding of each other. Say, I'm going to deliver it at this date to you, and I'm going to give you all 4-lobed capsicum to you, and the quality is going to be this, and I'm going to grade it, weigh it. So all these disciplines, for any other industry, why agriculture is exempted out of that? It should be taken into account, and I think we should embrace contract farming, and I don't see any disadvantages or challenges. If you really see challenges, disciplining yourself should be the challenge. And market also, I think we have gone to it a little more on this. I said one mantra is consistency and quality. You have to have, any product should be consistency. Even if you're producing paddy, I have seen many farmers in southern part of Tamil Nadu, where the large part of paddy is grown, or in Punjab, where they grow second crop for that. During the monsoon crop, the size of the paddy, if you look at it, one is longer, one is shorter, one is stout, one is thin. Now, when the customer is boiling this for eating rice, this is odd. One will get softened, one will uncooked, one something else. So they don't want this. You see, then the marketing is lost. So these all comes under as your discipline. That means the seed which you are selecting, has to be perfect. So that is all Xerox on it. Thank you, Dheeraj and Sandeep. I think I have given you my inputs. Hope this will help you to take into next stage.
Thank you very much, sir. Let's go to the next question. This is from Manas Ranjan.
Yeah.
And his question is the creation of hard pan important for paddy cultivation? Hence, is it a good idea to make use of chisel plow to break open the hard pan?
Manas Ranjan ji, it's a very good question. Yes, paddy, see, that's why I said roots. I always keep saying roots. Now, this paddy comes under a fibrous root. That means it's a very shallow rooted crop. You don't have to have a sizzle for paddy. But then India, we have a long growing season. So you're not going to only stuck with paddy. And doing paddy as a monocrop is not a good idea to have a healthy soil. That means after the paddy crop, you got to do the sizzle for your next crop. As I said, by sizzling, other than paddy and wheat, sugarcane, these are all fibrous rooted crops, but even sugarcane needs it because of the aeration and other things. Most of the other crops are all dicotyledon. They call it in a botany dicotyledon, which means they all have a taproot. If you can allow the taproot to grow, it will go up to 5 feet. But if you are shallowing it at 9 inches, 10 inches, the root gets restricted. The disadvantages for that is water. Now, instead of taking the water from 3 feet, now this root can only go up to 10 inches. In other words, you have to irrigate constantly on this 10 inches only. The volume of water and the nutrient available at that zone is not scavenged by the roots because you have not allowed the roots to grow. Now, I think you have understood the importance of paddy, why not, and for other crops, why. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Madhavan sir, for taking time in answering all the farmer questions. By this, we end our session of question and answers for the episode 1. Farmers, I would request more questions so that more clarity can be learned on this episodes. And also, I would request if you like these videos, please share with all the farmers and your friends and family. This is Crop Production Technology Series, and this was episode 1 question and answer session. And ensure to click on the bell icon and subscribe the channel so that all the episodes you will, without missing, you will watch them. Thank you very much.
Thank you.